Hello and welcome to a
Oh,
brand new installment of Nintendo News Report slash Nintendo World Report at night for Tuesday, January 24th, 2017. We do have a little bit of news for this episode, but this is it. This is the show when we all talk about our personal game of the years. News kept happening, and then we had the Switch thing in January, so that pushed it back, but now we got it. Today I'm joined by one Donald Terrio. Hello, Donald Terrio.
And the Oscar goes to a trash can on Sesame Street.
Mm. Oh yeah, they do. They did come out with the nominations today. I would like to throw my cap in for Manchester by the Sea, and it's, by the way, if you saw the Casey Affleck Dunkin' Donuts commercial, he's playing the same character but for about 2 hours, so you can enjoy that.
wait, was that intentionally the Dunkin' Donuts commercial? Is supposed to be him playing that character, or is that?
I don't think so, because it's a super angry New Englander that he's playing in both roles.
I think Casey Affleck's favorite performance for me will always be him in Good Will Hunting.
That's not bad, Casey Affleck.
I mean, much more substantial, like better dramatic work later in his career. But man, like '97 Casey Affleck with the thick New England accent, like that's
yeah,
top choice.
Yeah, and then Hacksaw Ridge I would also recommend, but that's beside the point. Other voice you're hearing, Neal Ronahan, director of NintendoWorldReport.com.
Unlike the past like 2.5 weeks, my voice should actually be normal. I'm finally not congested.
Brian B comes out right out of the gate. Zach Miller, hello, Zach Miller.
Hey guys, my video's off again because I'm afraid it'll freeze my computer.
It's okay. We're recording this on two different mediums. Things.
Just imagine I'm naked in my chair.
I mean, he showed us before.
I can't tell you how many times I've done this show and I've had a full shirt and just straight boxers.
Oh, dude, that's the only way I record.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
I thought you were going to say a full chub or something, but no, you're okay.
No, a half-mast ready to go, but non-committal. Brian
B. Seeing where the show takes you.
Exactly. Brian
we call
B.
it Nintendo World Report at night for a reason sometimes.
Comes right out of the gate and says, you guys slaughtered the Switch in that review, and I don't know if he's talking about the review that, or the preview that Jared, Justin, and I did a week or two back, or the last episode of this show. I thought we were fair on the last episode of the show.
I think, I don't know, it's just looking at like the greater Nintendo reaction to the Switch, I feel like we're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Because there are people that are just basically like, yo, Switch gonna die. And then there's people that are overly optimistic for it. Like, my heart wants to be overly optimistic for it. And like, you know, for March 3rd, like I'm all in. But realistically, like, there's a lot they gotta prove. And you gotta point out what's wrong with the presentation and what's concerning about the path ahead for the system. But hopefully it'll work out.
Those life end numbers I saw of some analyst or something, like 40 million, like that.
That would be a success.
I would believe that. I would lean more towards 20 or 30 based on what I've seen so far.
I mean, yeah, if this hits 40 million...
Okay, let's not start predicting lifetime sales of a system that hasn't come out yet. I was going to say,
if it does hit 40 million, though, that would be the third highest selling Nintendo home console of all time, I think.
Yeah.
Third or, no, maybe fourth.
Yeah, Super Nintendo,
NES,
Wii.
Yeah.
Not to get off track and talk about the Switch, but I'm just giving you guys a little bit of what you want, considering Brian B, new Diego Gamer U, who just subscribed, thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
And Jesse Estrada are like three of our first comments, all devoted to the Nintendo Switch. So, like, we talked about this over email today. We're probably going to be talking a lot about the Switch in the next few weeks, whether there's news about it or not, just because it's fun to talk about the Switch. And also, if you go on our iTunes, our show is on iTunes, by the way, our Switch show that we did last week completely dwarfs all the other shows we've done before. And I just put up the MP3 for that, I think, yesterday.
Damn.
So
Switch is hotness.
Switch is hotness. But that's beside the point. We actually got some news this week, don't we, Donald Terrio?
Yes, we got a press release this morning from Nintendo. They're not done releasing new 3DSs now that the Switch is on its way. There will be a Pikachu-themed new 3DS on February 24th, I believe, the last Friday in February for North America.
I was gonna say, doesn't
They
that
also
line up with the anniversary or close to it?
It's like 228, I think. Is
Yep.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah, so-
I mean, probably it worked out well when they sold Pokemon themed 3DS stuff this time last year. Do it again.
Yeah.
And they also announced that Tank Troopers is going to be coming out in North America on February 16th. And Mario
If you're
Sports
gonna be
Superstars will be...
If you're going to be at PAX East
Yeah,
and
if
you
you're
want to
gonna
play
be
Tank Troopers, let us know either in the chat or the comments. Somehow tweet me at Enron10 at PAX East. I think I might try to organize some tournaments. One of them might be Tank Troopers because, damn it, that's the only way I'm ever going to play that game in local multiplayer.
Same with Federation Force for me.
Yeah. Well, at least you can play that online. Tank Troopers doesn't have any online play.
Yeah, and Mario Sports Superstars will be out March 24th, along with Amiibo cards, which will give you superstar versions of the characters. And those will be standard Amiibo card pricing, somewhere Justin Berube is weeping.
Yeah, he is. He tweeted earlier, we should make sure Berube's okay. I know Amiibo cards usually give him cramps, I think.
Yeah.
We do have a card trading thread in the forums. I think it has sort of died down because of the Animal Crossing cards, but that is an option as well if you are in the market for those.
So, am I on an island in that I'm kind of really excited for Mario Sports Superstars?
Yes.
Yes, in that you're only kind of really excited, and not this is one of the coolest looking Nintendo games all year, which is where I'm at. At the very least, it's the 3DS game I'm most excited. Yo, they're bringing back Mario Superstar Baseball, even in just a tiny little portion.
That's
sick.
When we got this I have the 3DS preview that is up on NintendoWorldReport.com, and we got this press release. I was kind of thinking about one, I got some of the Animal Crossing Amiibo cards more out of curiosity, and I dicked around with them in Amiibo Festival. Amiibo Festival. And then, but I might go hard on these Mario Sports Superstars Amiibo cards, especially if the benefit in game is moderately worthwhile. But the more I think about this game, is that this is a package that I really want on the 3DS. It's got golf, baseball, 11-on-11 soccer, horse racing, and tennis, right?
Yeah.
It has 4 totally awesome, worthwhile Mario Sports games. And then horse racing, and the crazy thing is that the horse racing in videos kind of looks like it's just a weird form of Mario Kart. Everything about this game, I'm not gonna I tweeted about it earlier, right when this press release hit, was that I'm not 100% confident it's going to be good, but I can't wait to see how it turns out. There's a world where this game comes out and it's very disappointing and it's not that good. There's also a world where this is the best Mario sports game of all time.
Is Camelot developing it?
Part of it. They are.
I think they part of it.
Wait. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna.
I think they're doing the golf. Yeah, I think they mentioned.
Yeah, I know I think they're doing the golf and the tennis, and I think I just want to confirm this before I say it. Yes. Bandai Namco's doing everything else.
Oh, interesting.
So
Cool.
I don't know if it's the exact same people, but the people who made Mario Superstar Baseball are making the baseball mode in Mario Sports Superstars. Yeah, because Camelot's making just the tennis and the golf mode.
That's sick.
Which is good, because then they probably won't make the UI, and the UI could actually be usable, unlike in Mario Golf World Tour.
Yeah. Mario Superstar Baseball is my favorite Mario sports game. I'm looking forward to even just a little taste of it more. The Amiibo Card Festival either gives me more hope or less hope, and I'm not sure which it is yet. More hope in that it makes it seem like they're leaning towards this game a little more, despite whatever else they have to put out this spring. And then less so because what if this is too much Amiibo stuff?
I mean, we already saw too much Amiibo stuff. It was Animal Crossing last year.
Yeah.
No, I'm just hoping they learn their lesson that too much Amiibo stuff does not work to their advantage.
I gotcha. Now, I saw people talking about this earlier as well. We are now reaching that point where when 3DS games come out post March 3rd, everybody's just asking for a Switch version. I guess I have 2 questions for all of you. One, do you think that we will get any kind of Switch version of Mario Sports Superstars? That weird Pikmin game, by its nature, wouldn't work on Switch, I would think.
Right.
Or like Ever Oasis, will that show up on? Will that be a cross-platform title? Who knows? Like, do we think that's actually a possibility?
No,
And also, like, is it a bad thing that these games aren't on Switch post March
No.
3rd?
No.
no to both.
I think the extent cross-platform stuff that we're going to see is Fire Emblem Warriors, because let's face it, Omega Force can develop for anything, whether it's good or not, and maybe Pokemon Stars.
Yeah.
Omega Force, like, sometimes I'm very curious about how different Japanese game development is from Western game development, because you got Omega Force, who puts out 3 versions of a game at once. They develop it like what feels like a year at a time or even less, regardless of how simplistic they are. You got the Yakuza team, who develops their games in 1 year, and Yakuza 5 was made in 2 years, which was a huge deal for that team. And then you have all these Japanese developers making these games on these ridiculously short timelines. And I'm just curious, like, do they make games in a different way? Do they make these games that are more repetitive so it's easier for them? Do they just is all their work crunch time? Like,
I mean, I would think some of it is smart reuse of assets and engines. Because if you think about it, I mean, maybe someone more into the Dynasty Warriors thug life than me wouldn't know the answer to this. But like, you think, for example, I mean, let's just focus on the Nintendo games that Omega Force is working on. Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors are very likely on the same engine. And I would also assume that probably that engine is a modified version of whatever engine they use for Dynasty Warriors games. And yeah, they're upgrading that. Like, I think the next Dynasty Warriors game is going to be like an open world adventure or something like that. So there's probably more work to be done on that engine. But once you have those tools in place, then it would be easier to like spin up a Fire Emblem Warriors on a tight frame, because you already have the knowledge of making that style of game. You have the engine.
Yeah. And then Pokemon Bank, that update's coming out, right?
Already did.
It is.
It already did.
It's out. It is out right now. There was an online outage. There was an online maintenance going on when it first came out, but it is accessible now. And notably, it still did not put the actual national Pokedex into Sun and Moon. It just leaves it in Bank.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't that announced though, that it wasn't going to add the national Dex into Moon?
Yeah, I think the national Dex in an actual game is going to be the Stars feature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right, that's all our news for this week. Let's go into our Game of the Year lists finally. We have a structure for this that's going to be very similar to the structures we've done in past years, which is we have an honorable mention section, which you can do with whatever you want. It could be your 6 through 10. It could be just honorable mentions. You could do some kind of Nintendo, non-Nintendo split. And then the top 5, like for me, it's going to be a top 5. For Donald, it's going to be a top 5. But we all have our own little ways of doing it.
For me, it's going to be weird.
For you, it's going to be weird, Neal. So why don't you start off?
All right. Well, first, so my top 4 are this in order: Pocket Card Jockey, Picross 3D Round 2, Pokemon Moon, and Metroid Prime Federation Force. However, I talked about those 4 games at length on this very show about a month ago. I also talked about it on our Patreon exclusive podcast, which, if you are a monthly patron of Nintendo World Report, you can listen to that and a lot of other stuff by subscribing for just $1 a month. So that's cool.
Patreon.com/NWR.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I have a list of 25 games. I have a top 25 list. I'm going to, for my top 5 in regards to this, I will be discussing my games ranked 5 through 9. Sorry if that's needlessly confusing. But so for this honorable mentions thing, I will just quickly list off games 10 through 14, which would be my 6 through 10 in this. Number 14 is Tumblestone on Wii U, which is a really, really awesome, innovative puzzle game with a ton of content. Number 13 is Twilight Princess HD on Wii U, which is the definitive version of a pretty good game. Number 12 is Pokemon Go, which, despite being hopelessly broken, I've put too much time into, and probably about $40 or $50. Number 11 is Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, which is I'm not super into Rhythm Heaven, but this is the best Rhythm Heaven game I have ever played. And number 10 is Hyrule Warriors Legends on the 3DS, because even though that game kind of is overmatched on the 3DS, I adore it, and I like Wind Waker a lot.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Also, the DLC lets you beat people up with the windfish.
Yeah, it does. I need to play the rest of that DLC. By the way, it's like the original Hyrule Warriors, where I'm like, I'll save that for a rainy day, and then I never touch it.
Yep, I'm that same way.
I'm so happy that the new Warriors Fire Emblem game is going to be new 3DS exclusive, because that makes the new 3DS owners feel special, and it puts this game on the console where it should have been all along.
Yeah.
I mean, even like I personally wasn't really upset by the limitations that were imposed even on the new 3DS version of the Warriors game, but it is kind of weird going from the Wii U version to the new 3DS version, because it's like all the enemies on screen, very little.
Yeah. Okay. You know how we're gonna do this in order? We're gonna go Neal, Donald, Zachary, Alex, because that's the way my Google Hangouts is lined up.
Oh, look at that.
So Donald, go ahead.
Okay, mine are going to be my 10 down to 6, which is Tumblestone, which I played on Wii U. It's
That's a
multi-platform.
dope game.
Yep. Bravely Second and Lair. One word, Catmancer. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, which that's one of those games I really need to put some more time into. Doom 2016. The first of 2 Nintendo games on the list, and I may not have played it to completion, but what I played was fun, and I somehow turned that into a Melee game. I don't know how. And my number 6 then is Dragon Quest Builders, which is the first game that I paid full Canadian price for after playing the demo.
Wow.
Nice. Zachary, on to you.
So I'm going to do my 6 through 10 isn't really, don't consider it a real 6 through 10 in a ranked sense. I'm just giving you the 5 Nintendo games that I liked most this year, because my real top 5 is going to be non-Nintendo games. From 1 to 5, Picross 3D 2, Federation Force, Robobot, Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, almost exclusively for that boxing minigame, the interview with the boxer. I played that probably as much as the rest of that game. And then Horse Jockey Solitaire card game. I don't remember what it's called.
Solitiba.
Pocket Card Jockey.
Pocket Card Jockey. I sank a ton of time into that, but kind of for a brief window of days. I got to a point where I didn't know how to breed, and I'm not getting any better, so I'm moving on.
Yeah. You know what let me enjoy that game more was when you, Neal, and I were talking about this game, and you said something like, that game becomes way more fun when you stop looking at it as a game you need to beat, and more of like a solitaire app on your phone that you just pull out once in a while and enjoy. And when you play it like that, 10 hours melted away easily.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's how when I went out to Colorado the other week, I played that on the flight because it was just very calming and relaxing. Like I was, as previously mentioned, I was very congested. So that's no fun on planes. So I used that to kind of relax. And I didn't really, I had some horses retire that I thought would last longer, but I still had a really good time. I love that game for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like naming your horse. My favorite horse name was Sarah Jessica Parker.
that is a low blow.
Yeah, that was really harsh, man. She seems like a nice lady. It's not her fault.
I like the Game Freak names because they all sound like actual horse racing names.
Yeah.
It's like Lucky Stripes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Solitaire, Pocket Card Jockey, Solitiba was my number 11 or 12th, but it ended up getting out. It got pushed out a little bit by my number 10, Fire Emblem Fates Conquest, which is a very flawed video game, but has some of the best challenge out of any Fire Emblem game I've had. The reason why I think it pushed out Solitaire Horse is because I'm starting to get patriotic for Fire Emblem, and I think my feelings on it may have changed. However, at number 9, we got Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, which is a very good video game. I picked it up the other day just because it wasn't on my top 10, and I was very curious why. I picked it up. I played the axe cutting mini game, which is
so good.
That's the best music in that whole game. Is the axe cutting mini game? It's a wonderful game that scratches that WarioWare itch flawlessly. Number 8 Res Infinite, which is one of the most visually impressive video games I've ever played, and it was the game that sold VR to me, which I say almost hypocritically because my PlayStation VR has not been used in over 2 months.
I was just going to ask if you've used that in the past 2 months.
No.
And you answered my question for me.
No, I have not. However, reviews are saying that the VR mode in Resident Evil 7 is actually kind of sick. So when I get Resident Evil 7 in the next couple months, when it hits $40, like we were talking about before the show, that will be a fine time.
What was the last game you played in PlayStation VR?
I think it must have been a game that gave me a headache, because that's the only thing I could see myself playing that would turn me off from it for such an extended period of time. And I bet it was barroom sports barroom VR. It has like skee ball, but I haven't played it in 2 months, and then I deleted it from my file. The PlayStation VR, some games are super swimmy and can give you a headache after a little bit of time. Some games are not. My favorite other experience in it was Harmonix Music VR, which if you have a PlayStation VR like I do, and you have not gotten a Harmonix Music VR, download load some songs on a USB drive and plug it in. But that's beside the point. It was my first time through Res. It was a trippy ass experience, and that game is the best Star Fox game in 2016. So
cool.
Number 7, No Man's Sky, which people gave so much shit to. People gave that game so much shit. And, like, everyone's right about the shit they gave to it. But when people say, like, this game is the cover of a 1970s, 1980s sci-fi novel, like, they're totally right. Like, that's what this game feels like. The way it sounds, the way it feels, even though everything's repetitive, even though, like, it's the procedural generation is super clumsy, I dropped like 20 hours into that game just exploring the universe. Even if I didn't find what I was looking for, I still had fun, like, taking pictures of animals and naming creatures and then hearing the same fluttery soundtrack. What I would compare that game to, or like how I would describe that game to someone in a way that kind of dresses up its lacking elements, is I would say No Man's Sky is what happens when you take the development studios of like a 1970s, 1980s Atari game, freeze them, bring them back to like 2014, 2015, 2016, give them new technology, and see what game they develop with the same philosophy they have in the 1970s, 1980s. This is the game they would make, because No Man's Sky is a game that does force you to use your imagination in a way that a game has not really done so much in the last couple of years. So I normally wouldn't spend this much time, but you guys seem surprised at my picking No Man's Sky, so I just wanted to
I was.
Me too.
Pokemon Sun is number 6. It barely missed the mark. Nothing to say about this that we haven't said a month ago, but that's a really good Pokemon game. It still carries over a little bit of the bullshit from Gen 6, but the stuff that it does and the new stuff it does and the new things it tries, like, that's an awesome game. So there you go. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Neal, number 9.
Yeah. So this is my ninth game of the year, which is 7th Dragon 3 Code: VFD. Nintendo 3DS.
I burned out on this, but good choice.
Because Atlas, for some reason, didn't release Etrian Odyssey 5 in North America this year. This was my Etrian Odyssey kind of kick for the year. It's a really neat RPG. I'm going back on older memories of it because I haven't played it since like July. But it's got a pretty dopey story, but I really enjoyed the dungeon crawling and the combat. Yeah, I like 7th Dragon a whole lot, and it's got good music.
It does.
Yeah, I think it was like number 11 on my list. Just missed the cut.
Yeah, if for some reason you haven't played enough RPGs on your 3DS, go check this one out. It'll probably be on a sale soon, if it's not on one already. I think it's already been on sale, but it's well worth your time if you like Etrian Odyssey and dungeon crawly RPGs.
You might still be able to find the physical version in stores. I was at Best Buy a couple weeks ago, and they had several copies.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Donald, up to you. Tell me what's up with your number
Numero
5.
cinco.
Numero.
Yeah, so my number 5 is Pokemon Sun and Moon. We have talked this game to death. I wrote about it at length for the website's own Game of the Year feature, but it still holds. And it is the game that I am most tempted to restart and play absolutely too much of in 2017 because that's actually an engaging story for once.
Yeah,
In a Pokemon game.
it's the best Pokemon story in years, one might say. All right,
At least 6.
at least 6. Realistically, 5. 5-1, not 5-2, but probably since 2010, 2011. Zachary Miller, number 5. Zachary Miller.
Are you there? Are you there, Zach? It's me.
It's
I think we might have had a freeze.
I think this may be a comment on 2016 in video games.
Ha!
Zachary Miller, which is 2016 was a weird year in games because I think the first half of 2016 wasn't anything to write home about, mostly except for like Overwatch and Doom and maybe like one other thing. But the second half of 2016, like everything came out.
You want to know something funny?
What?
I'm looking at my list. The majority of my games came out in the first half of the year.
Really?
Yeah, like I have virtually nothing from like October to December.
Yeah. Let me see.
Was there really a lot that you would have played that came out in October through December, though?
There wasn't much that interested me. Like Tumblestone was summer, Twilight Princess was early, Pokemon Go was summer, Rhythm Heaven was summer, Hyrule Warriors Legends was early, Seventh Dragon was summer, Tokyo Mirage Sessions summer.
Yeah. Well, Zachary Miller has dropped out of the chat for now, so I will move on to my number 5, and then we'll just do Zach's as he jumps in. My number 5 is The Last Guardian on PlayStation 4, a game I played in January. I got it for Christmas. The Last Guardian is a game built for those who know what it's like to love and care for a large dog. Because Trico is probably the most impressive AI I've ever seen in a video game, and it's not that much of a surprise why The Last Guardian kind of chugs at times and doesn't like technically run the best, because Trico has a mind of his own and he feels like a giant dog cat and he acts like a giant dog, and you emotionally connect with him like a giant dog, like the same way you would build a bond with your own dog. So that's really good. The game itself is a puzzle platformer that is like Eco and Shadow of the Colossus put together, is like the most concise way I have of saying it. But a lot of the puzzles are really clever that take advantage of the fact that you're dealing with an unwieldy dog, cat, bird-like creature. And whenever you see Trico distressed or in trouble, or you see him in pain, at the very least, like, I started to get really concerned, like, personally, because I started to look at him as a real animal and not something that was being generated by a bunch of numbers on a PlayStation 4. So I would say Trico, one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in a video game. The Last Guardian, number 5, video game of the year. Zachary Miller.
Hey.
Tell me your number 5.
My number 5 is, now I have to check my phone because I forgot what I was about to say. That's the wrong window. It is Shantae 4.
Happy New Year, yeah.
Specifically, Shantae 4 for Vita. I played it. I liked it best on Vita. I got trophies out of it. I'd already played it on Steam and Wii U, but I really like having it portably. No surprise there. And it's not the best Shantae game. That's still Pirate's Curse. But Half Genie Hero is beautiful and very fun. It's short. Yeah. I mean, has anyone else played it?
No.
I have it. I've not played it yet, though.
No.
Same here. I'm thinking of undertaking a Shantae Vision quest this year, which I play all 4 of them.
Drugs?
Well, it might involve a lot of caffeine because the point is to play all 4 of them before the year's out.
Isn't the only one you really need to play like 3 if you're most people? Zach, is that
Yeah,
a fair thing to say?
That's true.
Yeah.
The Game Boy Color game's almost worth playing just so you can see what they were trying to do with that hardware, because they really give it a shot.
Nice.
By the way, you probably saw I froze there, so I recovered the Audacity file
Okay.
and it's saved.
Okay.
But what I just said was not recorded.
Well, you know what we're gonna do? We're probably gonna end up using YouTube at the end of this.
All right. Well,
Donald, how secure do you feel with the way the storm's going tonight?
I should be good.
Okay, so you're okay, Donald. You feel comfortable with us moving to YouTube?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. All right, Neal Ronahan, tell me your number 8 game of the year.
It is
Ocho.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions #Fire Emblem, which is a really good RPG. Persona Light, some might say. But like, even though I'm not into anime that much, that game is anime as fuck.
It might be one of the most anime games ever made.
Yeah, like it really worked for me in a way that I never expected. Like, just like all the ridiculous dancing and everything, like it definitely was on the line of what I could really tolerate for a game like that. But it worked. Like that's a hell of a video game.
yeah.
And I forgot to do this for Seventh Dragon, but I'll just do it for Tokyo Mirage Sessions. So since everybody wants to talk about the Switch, for each of my games that I mention, I'm going to mention a prospective Switch game that could be compared to a similar. So that Shin Megami Tensei game that it was announced for Switch, I'm very excited for that. And we don't even know what the director of Tokyo Mirage Sessions is doing next. Maybe it's that. Maybe he's working on a Switch game. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe he's bringing Tokyo Mirage Sessions to the Switch so people will buy it.
That game doesn't need to go to 2 consoles. That
No.
game's fine on just 1.
We'll talk about that more later.
Okay. All right. Donald, number 4 game of the year.
My number 4 is. Thank you. My number 4 is Paper Mario Color Splash.
Get out.
Now we have entered the
Wow.
spite portion of our broadcast.
Donald, we're not on honorable mentions anymore.
No, because I mean, I as somebody who really wasn't all that into 1,000 Year Door, and who got his RPG fix from Paper Jam earlier last year, I thought this was honestly one of the best written games Nintendo's ever had.
But the gameplay.
I didn't mind the gameplay, and honestly, the writing was that good that it
Number 4
outshone it
game
all.
of the year. I didn't mind the gameplay.
I think it was all right.
No, because I figured out a way that I was able to play the system so that I wasn't using up all my thing cards randomly. I was just pulling them out of a randomizer. So hey, profit.
And you did beat it? I'm just curious.
I'm pretty close, but
Okay.
I haven't finished the job yet.
All right. Yeah, I forget. Like I don't know. That's beside the point. Neal, the Tokyo Mirage Sessions, like, is that one of the few JRPGs you beat last year, or was last year pretty good for you? Because I know that sometimes you don't beat a lot of JRPGs.
Wait, let me look at my list here. I didn't beat Project Cross Zone 2. I beat Bravely Second. Didn't beat Dragon Quest 7. I beat Paper Jam. See, it kind of helped that like 90% of the games that I played this year were RPGs.
Yeah.
I beat Seventh Dragon. I beat Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I beat some other games on my list. I beat Pokemon Moon. Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good year. Project Cross Zone 2, I think I only didn't finish because I think a review game came in shortly after.
Also because if the first game is any indication, those last chapters are 2.5 hours long.
Yup.
Yeah, and I also like played through 2/3 of Project Cross Zone right before I got Project Cross Zone 2, because like playing the Project Cross Zone 2 demo was like a religious experience. And like as much as that game very much faded away as I got deeper into it, and like the ridiculousness of it faded, when I played that Project Cross Zone 2 demo, it like that was probably like one of the most exciting moments for me gaming wise in 2016, which might be an indictment on 2016. But that was that demo caught me so by surprise because I hated the demo for the first one.
Yeah.
Neal, I have a question for you as someone who was also mesmerized by the Project Cross Zone 2. Will I be able to play as the Yakuza characters for the entire game mostly?
Very early on, I believe you got them. And dude, I don't even play like Yakuza, and those guys were charming as shit in that game.
But do I get to play, can I make those my mains for, most of the... Is that the way that game works, or do I need to keep
you can have Zach that too, because I think he played more of it than I did.
What?
Yeah. Can I play,
Project Cross Zone 2.
I beat it twice.
Can I play
Jesus.
specific characters? That's so much.
What?
Can I play as specific characters?
No, it's just the 2 Yakuza characters who are in the demo or in the game.
No. I'm saying, can I play as them on almost every mission and then get witty banter from them throughout?
Yes. Most missions have a certain amount of characters, but several missions have them in it. I mean, most missions have them in it or everybody.
Okay, cool. All right, nice. So, did Zachary, did you tell me yours?
I haven't done 4 yet.
Okay, tell me 4.
My number 4 is another Vita game. It is Senran Kagura Estival Versus, which I thought was a 2015 game, but no, it's 2016, and it's arguably the best Senran game. And this time, I don't know why, but for some reason, I really got into the customizing the characters' looks in this one, whereas I did not do that at all in Shinobi Versus. But Estival is fun. It's, ninja big boobs. Hashtag ninja big boobs. And
Nice.
Surprisingly deep gameplay, deeper gameplay than Shinobi. And the story it gets dark. It gets kind of dark.
Is it a genuinely good story, or is it a good story because of the boobs?
No, it's a genuinely good story, especially if you've been following all these characters, the whole franchise,
Mhm.
and you get to know them. Like, the thing about Senran is the bubblegummy, big booby, jiggly ninja thing hides a really deep story that has surprisingly good character writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I play that or no?
No.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
also on PS4. I considered double dipping on this because it has cross save, but I didn't because I don't play console games half as much as handhelds.
And this doesn't seem like the kind of thing you'd want to put on a TV that's publicly viewable.
My wife wouldn't care.
Really?
Yeah.
That's nice. That's
Have you seen my room? No, you haven't seen my room. Neal's seen my room. He knows what I'm talking about.
I do.
How much boobs are in it?
A lot of boobs.
A lot of boobs. Okay, that's cool. Moving on to my Numero Quattro Game of the Year 2016. That is Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse on the Nintendo 3DS. A game I did not play until after Christmas when I was home at my parents' house for the holidays, and I played that game straight through, from December 26th to January 2nd, and I ended up clocking in 43 hours on it. And
Damn.
that story is so much... I mean, coming from someone who loves the story in Shin Megami Tensei 4, the story in Apocalypse goes
It's so much better.
crazier, and it's certainly better. It is a certainly better story, if not because of where that ending goes and what the ending tasks you with doing and who the final boss is, and just, oh my, it's so freaking cool. It's so freaking cool. Yeah.
I might be talking about that game in a little bit. That game, it's very similar to 4, but Apocalypse is a damn fine game.
Yeah.
A damn fine game.
You know what I would say? 4 is a better balanced video game like 4 feels like a more complete video game or like a better video game than Apocalypse does, but Apocalypse has a much better story. And I would call the 2 video games on I would put them on relatively equal footing. But yeah, it's great. It's absolutely great, and it makes me want to play Nocturne basically as soon as I get a free week to play a new JRPG.
Nice.
But yeah, that game is adult Pokemon, and Pokemon's adult Pokemon now. But Shin Megami Tensei is also adult Pokemon.
If you want to play kids Shin Megami Tensei, play Yokai Watch.
Play Yokai Watch or play Tokyo Mirage Sessions #Fire.
I don't know if that's kid Shin Megami Tensei. I feel like that's like adults who want to see girls dance in anime, like.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe kids. I mean, kids are into that too.
Yeah. All right. Everyone likes people dressed skimpy in anime, or at least I know I do.
They do.
Zach does.
Of course.
Who doesn't, right? Okay. Number 3, Neal Ronaghan.
Number 7.
Number 7.
My number 7 is Madden 17.
Oh God. Move
I thought
on.
this would be higher.
I checked. I checked my. Sorry, I was playing Dragon Quest 8.
I am right now because you're talking about Madden.
So I checked the clock on my Xbox One to see how much Madden I've played. I'm at about 90 hours. It is my most played game of the year by far. Madden this year, Madden last year was a huge step forward for the series, and this year is even better. I mean, speaking of RPGs, Madden is one of my favorite RPGs of the year. You build teams, you raise their stats, you play battles. Like, it's great. So I've played a couple, naturally, some Green Bay Packer seasons, although bitter irony, started a season when they made the playoffs, was wrapping up that season, and I lost in the NFC Championship game in heartbreaking fashion, much like the Packers did on Sunday.
Jeez.
I did that last night, and I was just like, as I got to the end of that game, I was like, you're kidding me. And it was like almost everything that happened in the actual game happened to me in the game of Madden.
Wow.
It's like it knew. But my favorite thing that I think I've done in Madden was during the height of the Packers losing streak, I started hate playing Madden, and I took over the San Diego Chargers and did a fantasy draft, which means that it takes the players off of every team, and then you have 53 rounds, so you fill your team. So I filled my team. I played through the first season as the San Diego Chargers, and then promptly moved them to Portland, and they became the Portland Lumberjacks. And then I started to like through the draft and all the created players that they give you, I crafted this like powerhouse team, and then like won 4 Super Bowls in a row, and then got bored and moved on to something else. But I kind of want to do that again, because that was a lot of fun to just kind of like pick up some players that I like, throw them on a team, and then kind of like, you know, like create my own team as opposed to playing with a pre-existing one. Like, that was a good time. Madden's tremendous if you like football.
Nice. Number 7 for Neal.
Also, my Switch comparison. FIFA. FIFA on the go could potentially be very good. The touchscreen usage and the gamepad stuff in the Wii U version that was at launch, that was very good. I don't know if we'll see exactly that on the Switch, but EA has pledged that FIFA on the Switch will be a wholly new game, so that could be neat.
Yeah, so if you like an RPG like Madden, look forward to the new Shin Megami Tensei game on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Or as I like to call it, Shin Madden Gami Tensei.
Yeah. Shin Madden Tensei. Yeah, my first round, it was between Odin or Aaron Rodgers. I didn't really know who to go with. It was a real hard decision.
Yeah.
That's what like when the Packers quarterback's girlfriend, Olivia Munn, when she was Psylocke in the recent X-Men movie, I was just hoping they'd like show a clip of Aaron Rodgers playing football and be like, "There's a mutant right there." But then I remembered that movie took place in like the 80s, and that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah. Word. Donald Terrio, number 3.
Numero 3. Well, the if we're talking play clocks here, my number 3 is Fire Emblem Fates.
Is
At
Damn.
154 hours. And the sad thing is, that's about 1/6 above what my roommate has put into that game since it launched.
Wow. My God.
What's so good
Yeah.
in that game? And I say this as someone who put it on his top 10 list, but I know that it's Fire Emblem and it's mechanically sound. I know the story is not that strong compared to other Fire Emblem stories, and that's not even an unfair thing to say. So I'm just curious, where does that 150 hours come from? Where does that 900 hours come from?
Part of it is my roommate plays on Lunatic, so he's having to plot strategies, constantly reset in case he loses somebody, or do a boatload of grinding if he's playing something other than Conquest. For me, it came down to the characters were just interesting enough, and the game, and with solid gameplay, that this is something that I wanted to see. I wanted to see all the sides of the story. So that's why I beat Birthright, I beat Conquest, and even after I screwed up my own Revelations run, I went back and did it again.
Nice. Nice.
Wow.
I still have some DLC to play on that too. But well, there's another Fire Emblem coming out in May, so that may get cut off. I don't know.
There you go.
True.
And it's a cool ass looking Fire Emblem too. Zachary Miller, what is
Hi.
your number 3?
Number 3 for me is a game I just beat last week. It's Rise of the Tomb Raider for PS4. An excellent follow-up to the Tomb Raider reboot from 2014. A better game in every way. It does not feature the kind of, kind of wince-inducing injury porn that game had. The worst thing that happens to Laura in this game is she gets really cold, because most of the game takes place in, the Arctic or something. Himalayas, I don't know where it takes place. It's not really clear. But there's a nice crafting system that is very quick. You don't have to go through a lot of menus. You have a ton of combat options, which, kind of makes me not want to play Uncharted 4, because I know Uncharted 4's combat is the same as Uncharted 3 and 2's combat.
That's not true.
That's what I keep hearing.
Uncharted 4 plays like GTA 5.
That doesn't help me.
I'm not saying it's better for you. I'm saying that's a more accurate way to describe the way that game feels.
All right.
As if you like the shooting controls on GTA 5 are very similar to the shooting controls in Uncharted 4. The vehicle stuff feels like almost like a Grand Theft Auto. I would say it's the best feeling Uncharted game. Like if you can get it super cheap, you'll be pleasantly surprised by those elements. The story is where that game falters some. The reason I said that is because Uncharted has always been hide behind cover, shoot dudes, move forward, hide behind cover, shoot dudes keep flooding in, etc., etc. Yeah. And if you screw up, you die. Right. But with Rise of the Tomb Raider, like, you can get away, you can approach any situation like 100 different ways. It's very freeing. The story is not fantastic. I didn't really care. Ton of questing. I sank a lot of time into doing quests, and there's a whole bunch of whole bunch of game modes that I will probably never try, but this is a game that you could sink so much time into. Yeah. So I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. It looks beautiful, and really fun. Cool. All right. My number 3 is Mega Man Legacy Collection on the 3DS eShop.
Wow, number 3.
A game that came out in February on the 3DS. It came out like in 2015 on every other platform, but on the 3DS eShop, it came out.
Yeah, it came out it was physical.
Yeah, but I have it physically.
No, but it also came out physical on it came out physical in 2016
on the same
the
day
other platforms. On the 3DS digital, 2016 physical and digital, and then the PS4, Xbox One, and PC digital versions came out last August August 2015.
But you keep on seeing 3DS eShop that it came out on both on the same day.
Oh, well, I'm saying that's the way I got it.
Okay,
that's the way I played it in 2016, which is one of the ways it did come out in 2016. Anyways, Mega Man 1 through 6, that's a hell of a collection. I played those games for almost 40 hours. It was my introduction to the Mega Man series. I don't necessarily want to play more Mega Man because I found out I played like 80% of the ones I actually need to play. So like maybe there will be one or two more that I play in the future. Like I know I got to play X at some point. I know maybe I should play 7, maybe I should play 9 and 10, but we'll see. But 1 through 6 are some of the best platformers I've played on the NES. Granted, they're the ones that I have the freshest memory of, but I think those games feel better to me and feel tighter to me and feel more enjoyable and challenging to me than, I would say, the Mario games.
Wow.
I would say I had more fun playing Mega Man 2, Mega Man 1, Mega Man 3, and Mega Man 6 than I had Super Mario 3. Maybe 6, not so much. But anyways, that's 6 amazing platformers that I played for the first time, and I could not recommend that thing enough. It goes on sale for $10 every so often on the eShop, and I think it's like $15 now. Just to rank them, in my opinion, 2, 1, 6, 3, 4, 5, and best to worst. So there you go.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. That is an excellent collection of video games. Number 2, yeah.
Your number 6 for Neal, I guess.
Yeah, number 6. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse.
Nice. What's that about?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
you said it very well, Alex. This is a kick-ass RPG with a really good story. I like a whole lot about it. I wrote a review about it back in September.
Nice.
Had a lot of fun with this game. For comparisons, I already gave Shin Megami Tensei on Switch for Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which in retrospect might have been a mistake. So instead, Project Octopath Traveler is the game that I'll say that, like, if you liked Apocalypse, maybe keep an eye out for that. Although maybe it would be more apt if you liked Bravely Second, keep an eye out for that one. But Nintendo did just put the Project Octopath trailer. They put that up on their YouTube. So, I mean, I don't think there was really any doubt of that coming over, but it is like totally coming to America, it seems, and that game looks really neat.
They also announced a Fire Emblem Switch game coming in 2018, which would not be...
Yeah, that would have been better for Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions has a little more Fire Emblem than I thought it would going in.
Like, the back half definitely does.
Yeah. Okay, word. Dontario, number dos.
Well, you've been talking about it for the last 30 seconds or so. It's Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
I need to play this game.
Donald, what's your
word? My word is it was probably the most challenging game I played all year because I was advised to start on hard, and I freely admit that game kicked my ass. It was a great RPG. It filled that Persona-shaped hole in my heart because I think one of my biggest disappointments of 2016 was that Persona 5 didn't come out in North America.
But
it came
relegated to being Game of the Year 2017.
Yeah, I wrote a review of Tokyo Mirage Sessions. My thoughts from there are pretty much the same, except also the ending is absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah. Is it batshit crazy in that Xenoblade way?
2 words: rock opera.
Okay. So more like Splatoon, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, word. Zachary Miller, your number 2 non-Nintendo game of the year.
My number 2 is a game that I actually played at PAX East last year, thanks to Mr. Chris Johnson of Adult Swim Games. It's Headlander for PS4. A wonderful, funny, colorful Metroidvania kind of game that takes place on a 1960s or 70s space station with just a lot of humor, and it's very well designed. You know, easy to get 100% on this. It's a game I platinumed. I also platinumed Shantae 4. Yeah, Headlander's great. Have any of you played Headlander?
I do have it, and I have played it. And I did play it at PAX East also. That is a fine puzzle platform with a unique art style.
Yeah.
It was actually the first game I spent real money on the PS4.
Nice. I think me too. Actually. Oh wait, no, I didn't. I got it. I got a code for it. But you were right to spend money on it because it's great. The story's terrible. The story is terrible. The ending makes no sense at all. I'm sorry. It's a bad story. But that's not why you're playing it. You're playing it to put your head on the body of a gigantic quadrupedal mech that destroys other mechs by spinning itself around. And by shooting doors that sarcastically say, "Okay, I'm opening," things like that. It's a really fun game.
I'm sorry, it's a bad story. Quote for
Good Lord, it's awful.
Zachary Miller's #2 game of the year to join.
Fox quote: "Don't play this for the story."
To join Donald Terrio's, was it what, #4? The gameplay was all right for Paper Mario.
The gameplay was all right, but the writing and what they do with paper in that game is, anyway, that's off topic.
I think it's pretty on topic. It's just an old topic. All right, word Headlander #2. My number 2 is Doom.
Nice.
PlayStation 4.
Dude, I want this game, but I don't have the free space necessary to play it.
Just delete. What aren't you playing anymore?
I mean, lots.
Just delete something and then download.
It's like 76 gigabytes.
That's a big game.
Yeah,
but you know what? It's a great game.
Yeah, even the disc version is 76 gigs, by the way.
Jesus.
And it's kind of a bullshitty reason why it's 76 gigs, because it's all this multiplayer stuff, which is not the stuff you come to this game for. Because the multiplayer, it's okay. It's kind of a by the numbers arena shooter that tries to be.
Why the fuck is it 76 gigs?
There's no reason.
Here's what happens.
Yeah.
The patches for the multiplayer download content, season pass packs, they put all of that into the updates, no matter who you are or what you own. So, anyway, that's beside the point.
Sorry.
Alex's #2 game of the year. The multiplayer is bullshit. But what makes Doom great is that I have never been more in love with the mechanics of a game in the last couple. I haven't been this much in love with the mechanics of a video game in the last couple of years. It's like the shooters from the 90s, but they bring it into the modern era. It is hard, but it's deliciously hard in that classical way that makes my hand shake after I play it for long enough. And then also you got to play it on ultra violent, which is the hard mode, because that's way more fun to play it. The melee is awesome. Every single gun feels fantastic. My test of a good shooter is how the shotgun feels, and how the shotgun feels determine the quality of that shooter overall. And it's one of the finest shotguns I felt in a game. And if I had to compare it to another one of my favorite games, my favorite indie game, no less, I would call it Hotline Miami 64.
Damn.
Wow.
Because it has very tightly constructed levels, though these are more sprawling than Hotline Miami's. But the way Hotline Miami makes me feel to play, that's how Doom makes me feel to play. It has awesome bosses. It has a fantastic style. The music is the best music of 2016 in a video game, no doubt, because it's just raw heavy metal shredding.
Nice.
It's a badass video game. Doom is badass, and I recommend it to absolutely everyone.
I want it real bad.
Yeah. Okay. That leaves us with our final #1 game of the year, or in Neal's case, #5.
Before I get to my number 5, I'll recap again my number 4 through 1: Metroid Prime Federation Force, Pokemon Moon, Picross 3D Round 2, and Pocket Card Jockey. And now, without further ado, my number 5 game of the year, Kirby Planet Robobobo. This is the best Kirby game I've ever played.
Yep.
The mech stuff super adds way more cool shit to do in it. Varies up the powers that you get, because not only do you have the power-ups that Kirby gets, you also get the power-ups that you get while in the mech. And it's just a super inventive platformer that I had such a blast with, and the ending, the final boss, is really cool and a twist.
Oh, geez, I thought the final boss was maybe the one weak point of the game because
Oh.
it just goes on and on and on
It
and on
does
and
go
on
on
and
a
on.
while, but it's also like charming in that like you're fighting a corporation.
Yeah.
which
I did like the very final thing in that game you do is an accidental call out to Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of that whole game.
Yep.
Here's my question, and I had to take out my headphones because I might want to play this game, so I guess I protected myself from some spoilers. Kirby Return to Dreamland is the only Kirby game I've actually really, really liked because I thought it had like a really decent challenge. Kirby Triple Deluxe I thought was pretty good, but was way too easy for my tastes. Is Robobo closer to Triple Deluxe or Return to Dreamland?
It's not a hard game.
Yeah. I think it's harder than Triple Deluxe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have this weird like kind of distaste for Return to Dreamland. I've been meaning to return to it at some point. Like I beat it back on Wii. But it just didn't really like it wasn't that great to me. And it's one of those games like Secret of Mana, which is another game that I played back in the day and did not enjoy, but everybody talks about how brilliant it is.
Yeah.
I feel like I owe it to both Secret of Mana and Kirby Return to Dreamland to try them again. But like, because Kirby Return to Dreamland, after I finished that, I was kind of like, that's one of my least favorite Kirby games I've ever played.
Oh, wow.
But everybody talks about how it's like their favorite. So I don't know. It's weird.
No, it's cool. Kirby's a weird series. I feel the same way about Epic Yarn, where I think that's kind of a by the numbers platformer with some of the most charming style of any game that's ever been made.
Yeah, and it's weird because I mean I do plan on getting the 3DS version of Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World.
That game looks great. I played the demo. It looks
actually
yeah. I still haven't. I have not played the demo yet, but I think I'm probably going to pick it up just because I feel like that's another one that I feel like I owe a second chance to, and I'll play it a lot more on 3DS.
Also, the Poochie amiibo.
I need the Poochie amiibo in my goddamn life right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like I adore Kirby's Epic Yarn, and I've even like played through that game like 2.5 times, and I still adore that game. But for some reason, Woolly World, like its charms didn't work on me as well as Epic Yarn did.
Yeah. I would recommend anyone who's interested to play the demo because Neal, especially, I know you played this game. You remember how Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D looks like shit?
Yeah.
This game does not look like shit in the way you would expect it to. Like because when you would look at the trailer, you're like, oh, this thing's probably going to be in 2D and it's going to look like crap like those Donkey Kong characters in the 3DS game, it's one of my favorite platformers, but it's also a really bad looking version of one of my favorite platformers. This game looks great. I would say it's probably one of the finest looking 3DS games yet. So I would try it. It's only 2 levels of the Wii U game. It doesn't have any of the Poochie levels. It's kind of a bummer. But anyways, sure. Donald Terrio, your number 1 game of the year, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Tell me all about
it. We covered that last year, but yeah. Remember how I said around Paper Mario that this was the start of the Spite section? Well, this is the apex.
Number 1 Federation Force. No shit.
Yep.
Really?
I could have told you that. I could have told you that last October, around the time of the 5th fan petition. But this is the first Metroid game that I've actually enjoyed playing since 1992.
Damn.
See, yeah, Spite.
93.
No, 92. Metroid 2 on the Game Boy.
Oh, Metroid! God, wow.
Yeah, and it.
Have I told you that you're fired?
There goes the news section.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just promoted Adam. Good job. Sorry, Adam. But yes, but it controlled great for me on the new 3DS. The controls clicked right away, and there's enough variety in the missions that you have your kill everything in sight, your puzzle missions that I would have probably done this anyway, but Metroid Prime Federation Force earned its number 1. It wasn't just Spite.
Hell yeah. It's my number 1. No, I'm sorry, number 2. It's my number 2 Nintendo game of the year. And we have to play it multiplayer local at PAX East. There's some medals I need to get.
Yes.
The sad thing about Federation Force is that its online community burned out within about a month.
Well, I mean, it was a game that had a lot of negative hype
Yeah, I know. Nobody bought
on
it.
a system that was lagging at the time, unless you
Yeah.
were Pokemon.
And the best way to play it for me was Donald. Did you play it online?
I tried to get a game, but I just wasn't able to get anybody.
So
did
you
it get number
still
one?
liked it on solo?
So you lone wolfed it.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
geez, I couldn't do that. Oh man, some
Yeah,
of those
that's how
missions.
I was able to play most of the game. I mean, some missions I think are actually easier in single player.
That's true, but some of the later missions to get all 3 medals, you really need more than one person.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
surprised by the fact that you were able to beat it with one person. I'm surprised that it managed to make your number one without the thrill of multiplayer being added in there too. Like,
Yeah.
I think that says more about that game than I thought it would.
I'm not a multiplayer guy. That's the thing. Like I buy 2 versions of Pokemon, so I don't have to deal with the idiots on the Global Trade Service.
Yeah.
Amen.
Word. Okay, I hear a 3DS click, which means it's time for us to move through this. Zachary Miller.
My number one, my numero uno is Ratchet and Clank for the PS4. Maybe my favorite game on the system. I've replayed it like 3 times. I'm going for platinum on it. It's beautiful. It's the best Ratchet and Clank game. It's so much better than the movie it's based on, which you should not watch.
Wasn't planning on it.
Just everything about that game is like a 10.
Yeah.
It's so good.
How
So
long
good.
is it? How long is it?
It's first time through, maybe like 7 or 8 hours before you really know what you're doing, but then you can speed run it because you keep all your weapons
Okay.
and all your upgrades.
No,
And
because
it's $20 on PSN in the US.
I got it sealed for $10 from GameStop at Black Friday, so I'm waiting for a good time to crack it open. But
Play
if you
that shit.
And I've never played a Ratchet and Clank game. And
Play that shit.
It's not a better time to jump in and play Ratchet and Clank.
This is the best Ratchet and Clank game. Oh God, it's just so good. And some people have complained that it doesn't really have the characters that the previous games did. And honestly, yes, the previous games did have a big cast of characters that were all funny. But this game really kind of waters it down to Ratchet, Clank, kind of Captain Quark, and Nefarious. And Nefarious isn't even in it very much. It's just so good. It's tight.
Word.
You're tight.
Nice.
Oh, I know.
So, we got Pocket Card Jockey. We have Metroid Prime Federation Force. We have Ratchet and Clank. And for my number one video game of the year, I got Final Fantasy 15.
Damn. Oh, I figured this would be on your list, yeah.
I just crossed the 50-hour mark in that game. I beat it. It was my first Final Fantasy game, too. I have never played a video game like Final Fantasy 15 because it's like Metal Gear Solid 5. It's not perfect. It has some issues, and then you can tell that it was made over 10 years because some of the story stuff doesn't gel together perfectly. But there's just something so fresh and so beautiful and that feels so good about playing that game. Just driving in the car, you and your 3 best friends going on JRPGs adventures together. Like, the combat's kind of like Witcher 3, but also it's a super faithful Japanese role-playing game, just the way it feels. And like just the way everything controls and the way the moves work. It's super authentic, it's super real, but also it's new. I feel like it's a rethought of the JRPG. The action's awesome. I love the story. I love the characters. I love the fact that it's a fantasy world in the real world. The level of post-game in this is downright staggering. Like, I could see people easily spending 100, 150 hours just playing all the dungeons and getting all the unlocks. The dungeons are great. The combat's great. The bosses are great. Where that game goes, the ending is kind of crazy and great, and it's not the same as Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, but it goes to some really crazy places. like Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, and this is not a spoiler because it happens in the first few seconds of the game, albeit briefly. It's one of my favorite time skips I've ever seen in a game too. Like the way it handles it is it's one of the coolest time skips that has some of the most interesting story ramifications. Also, it has like Monster Hunter elements in it, and it has all these other elements in it, and then you can also drive in the car along the countryside while listening to the battle theme from Final Fantasy VII. So that's pretty sick. And then the car can turn into a flying car. And that game, one of the best JRPGs I've played in years. I ended up reopening my top 50 games list of all time just to put it at like number 17 or 18.
Damn.
I can't recommend that game enough. I think that game got way fewer props than it deserved. At like
I think it kind of faded quick, didn't it?
But it sold incredibly, and
the problem is they announced that like the we're basically getting the international version content, but the fact that they're adding story elements and probably caused a lot of people to be like, you know what, I'm gonna wait a few months, or maybe this game will be in the bargain.
Which I thought was kind of cool to me because I thought the story was already more or less complete as it is. It just gives me a reason to replay it. I don't know, but then that also makes me feel like an apologist. That's beside the point. Yeah.
Did you see the movie?
I saw like parts of the movie. I watched the first 10 minutes. I got super bored.
Oh.
And I stopped watching it because I thought it was basically unwatchable and boring, and the voice acting is very bad.
I just wonder if the movie is necessary to enjoy the game's plot.
I think a Wikipedia article read of the movie summary is necessary to a couple select elements of the plot. And then I would also recommend you watch the anime, Final Fantasy 15 Brotherhood, which is an excellent hour of Final Fantasy anime. It does the whole animatrix.
Didn't know there was one.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's free. I think there's like 5-6 episodes of it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Donald, you've been playing Final Fantasy 15. You like it so far?
I'm liking it so far. It's just I might have to let it go earlier than I thought, just because it's one of those things where I need to be able to get a Switch on launch day.
Have you already?
I'm in chapter 3 right now. I'm probably going to play that game as long as I can before I have to go trade it in.
Okay. I hope you get to the point where you decide not to trade that game in and trade something else. Okay.
I don't really have anything else I can't. They wouldn't take Shantae or Tumblestone, so
really?
I got nothing else. Yeah, they would not. It was literally not in their computer system. But anyway, we got to wrap this up.
I'm just gonna read a couple because the chat's been active, so I'm just gonna read a couple. Has Alex played Final Fantasy VII? I have not played Final Fantasy VII. I just really love the battle music in Final Fantasy VII. After I beat Final Fantasy VI, which I've been playing on iPad, Final Fantasy VII is my next Final Fantasy game, Cherry Goblin. Kane says Final Fantasy 15 is dope. Loved it. Dale says that game, Ratchet & Clank, is the best Ratchet & Clank game.
Hell
it
yeah.
also includes a good portion of the movie and cutscenes.
It does, actually.
I bet is the best way to watch.
And it actually, there's a little message comes up when those cutscenes are playing. It says, recording stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kane says the combat of Final Fantasy 15 is awesome and the ending of the game is incredible. I will agree. The ending of that game is incredible. I especially love what they did with the final antagonist. That game's just excellent, beautiful, excellent. The anime is cool, says Kane. And then Tyler Dick, who has a fantastic name. Anyone play Pokemon Duel today, aka Pokemon Co-Master? I've not.
I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet because Dragon Quest VIII.
Okay, which Neal is enjoying as we speak.
I am indeed.
Our cue to end.
Dude, I've been playing this for half the show.
You can't see it, but I've been doing the same thing.
Oh, so that's why you turned your camera off.
I wish I could join you, but we talked about why I can't right now.
Yeah. Okay, that's our show for this week. That's our Game of the Year. I hope you all enjoyed it. Patreon.com/NWR. Support this wonderful, wonderful show and support the wonderful, wonderful website. patreon.com/NWR. Read the rest of our content, NintendoWorldReport.com, NINWR.com. You can see a lot of excellent Switch coverage, a lot of good Switch reaction shows, a lot of good Switch preview stuff, a lot of good Switch content in general, because I know you love your Switch content. So watch it, rewatch it, read it, reread it. Enjoy your Nintendo.
Keep switching.
Keep switching.
Huh.
And
Keep
there you
on
go.
switching.
Also, it's on iTunes. The show's on iTunes. Look up Nintendo News Report. Review us on iTunes, Nintendo News Report. We just got our first review, and it was a positive review, which makes me very excited. Positive or negative, just leave your feedback. I'm very excited to read it. Thank you very much. That's our show. Have a good night.
If you want to hear more about Dragon Quest VIII, the newscast crew is getting back together to do a game club on this here YouTube channel of Dragon Quest VIII. If you're watching this, you probably have no idea what the hell we're talking about. Pretty much why we're here is back in 2009, like Zach and two other people who, well, Andy Gergen is still a part of the site, but he's more in the background, and Nathan, who used to be a big part of the site, but is no longer. We did a show called Newscast for like 2 years, from like 2009 to 2011. And all of us are playing Dragon Quest VIII. So we're going to do a game club video series of that. And if you want to join along, make sure you play up through Myella Abbey. That's what we're going to be discussing for the first one, which will be going up later this week.
You're the end of that chapter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't just get there and quit.
Yeah. Get to the end when you're leaving Myella Abbey.
Yeah.
All right. That's our show. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.